The KwaZulu-Natal Correctional Services Commissioner has came forward. And if I tell you, he has dropped the bombs left, right, and center.
This style of leadership, we have never seen it. Take the transfer of Matlala to ePhongweni. The head of the center by law must approve ultimately who goes out there. We facilitate at our levels. Commissioner, as head of the department, has got a last say. But when Matlala was transferred, the procedures were not followed.
From implicating the IDAC and how the IDAC has been in cahoots with the National Correctional Services Commissioner, which is Mr. Thobakgale, to him exposing the escape of Thabo Bester and how Thobakgale is involved in that, and also talking about the illegal transfer of Vusumuzi Matlala to ePhongweni. In this video, I wanted us to actually react to this exclusive interview that Mr. Nxele had with the eNCA that I think it's very important for us to actually talk about.
When you talk about cartels, I say the way the issue of Thabo Bester was handled, it tells you that there are cartels in correctional services. The way the issue of Matlala transfer and so on, it tells you that there are cartels.
So, Mr. Nxele came forward before the eNCA recently and held an exclusive interview. Because of how important the things he said during that exclusive interview, I think that I'll be taking out the cues if I decide to just take bits and pieces of that interview. I think it's best if I play the full exclusive interview. But before we can play the full exclusive interview, it's very important for you to understand the background of the story. And who is this guy and how is he implicated? Because it is very important for us to take everything he says with a pinch of salt, because there's been serious allegations that have been following him. So whatever that he says, you can't just say, okay, it's gospel, we're taking it. But I think it's very important for us to also listen to him, as much as there's been a lot of allegations that have been following him.
The application by the department to extend my suspension is dismissed.
And I'm telling you, I was shocked almost most of the times that I was listening to this exclusive interview, especially in relations to Thabo Bester, because we know that Thabo Bester escaped the Mangaung prison and was found captured after there were videos that were circulating on social media of him with his lover, Dr. Makgothi. They were at Woolies, and it just so happened that that picture was taken, made circulations on social media, and the next thing, they were on the run and they were found. It's one of the stories that have really got a lot of international and national traction, because something that does not always happen, that someone can escape prison and act like he has been unalived, only to find out that he's living luxurious at Woolies with his lover.
So this is just to display the level of connectivity that Makgothi has in the police. Well, he said it in public, that, which is on the record on TV, that he was with a part of the operation to bring Thabo Bester into the country. He said that. And I know that Jarkhan was in that operation too. So it's something on the side that will need to be checked, that I don't want to delve into.
So I wanted us to first start with the crux of who is Mr. Nxele and why did he come forward and why did he have this exclusive interview now, and what will happen going forward before we can actually watch and react to the exclusive together. So let's get to the video. So Mr. Mnikelwa Nxele is the KZN Correctional Services Commissioner, as I've said, and he has had a lot of that clout that has been following him from the years of 2004. And the biggest allegations that he's faced with, because he's faced a lot of disciplinary. Now and again, he faced internal disciplinary. He will be suspended from work, suspended with the pay. Now and again, he'll be gone, come back, because of different allegations that he's been faced with. But one amongst the biggest allegation is the one of bribes. That during the time when there was those Bosasa company, he was actually bribed for him to actually give a certain tender to the Bosasa. So Bosasa has been one of the companies that have been heavily implicated during the State Capture Commission and has had a lot of influence in South Africa. And now Mr. Nxele was charged by the IDAC because it is said that he was receiving around about 100,000 every month from them after he was part of the special adjudicating committee, which then allowed or enabled for the Bosasas to actually score that particular tender where he benefited and received that particular bribe, allegedly. He was then charged, he went to jail, and he was then given bail. He's currently out on bail, but there's other disciplinary issues that he's currently faced with, internal disciplinary issues. So according to what the IDAC has said, he's faced with over 1,500 counts of fraud and money laundering, which is spanning from the years of 2004 and 2023. And then in terms of the internal disciplinary proceedings, the department previously placed Nxele on precautionary suspension following internal investigation into irregular tender awards and the handling of large sums of money and some gambling activities that it looks like he was involved in. It has been further stated that Nxele's career has been marked by a high public protected legal battle with the former DSC leadership. In 2018, Nxele made a protected disclosure against the then National Commissioner Arthur Fraser regarding departmental irregularities, while the Public Services Commission protected him from occupational detriment regarding those specific disclosure. The DSC has continued to reinstate review application to challenge previous arbitration awards that favored him. So these are the allegations that have been faced by Mr. Nxele previously. And obviously he has said many a times before the media that he's innocent and that he did not commit any crime, that he is not corrupt at all. And I think after now, since he has been released and this investigation by the IDAC that they are currently carrying out, he then decided that it would be best for him to come forward because the Correctional Services National Commissioner, Mr. Thobakgale, has decided to actually distance himself from what is going on with Mr. Nxele and has said that everything has been handed over to the IDAC. The IDAC is currently busy with that particular investigation.
Not been in loggerheads with the Regional Commissioner of KZN, Mr. Mnikelwa Nxele. He has been making spurious allegations that he could not prove, including the fact that he said he lifted the lead, and it ran as a byline even on your programs, that he lifted the lead on high prices. He did not do that. The department went to the portfolio committee to present a report as part of the work of the department, and the department highlighted that there was that risk of high prices, which is being corrected. He is arrested, and it is out of the work that the departmental investigation unit started doing before I even became a national commissioner of this department, flowing from the work that had to do with Bosasa, flowing from the work that had to do with the SRU investigation on a proclamation on procurement in KZN, and including contemporary issues that happened during my term. And that part of the investigation, actually, he tried to interfere with, and it's one of the charges that we are pursuing through internal disciplinary processes. But that's the work that was done by IDAC. He has not yet appeared in court. We will hear what are the charges that IDAC would have preferred to him.
But he thought that, you know what, this is war, this is fights. And out from everything we have seen ever since everything has started, from the 6th of July, we have seen the fights that are happening, the infights in subs, IDAC, IP'd, the Hawks. But now we see a classical example of what is happening with the correctional services. I wonder what will the Minister Groenewald actually say about this, everything that is going on with Nxele as well as Thobakgale, because it does not really look good at all. And their fights, really, they signal a serious problem with correctional services. We know that correctional services is very important in our criminal justice system. That is where these people, after they went through all the trial evidence has been presented, they are kept for them to actually serve sentence for purposes of rehabilitation. And if our correctional services are having infights, that is why it's easy for people to escape prison, because these people are fighting amongst themselves, these factions within the correctional services. And if there's factions within the correctional services, then it's easy for these things that are happening with the correctional services to happen. We know that now and again we're hearing rumors and news of how people have escaped prison, how people have left prison, and has made us ask ourselves a lot of questions as to how was this person able to escape? How did this person escape prison? And we are getting now an explanation that makes sense and that tries to give us a sense as to how are these things done? How is it possible that these prisoners actually escape? They leave prison. It's just a lot of things that are happening with our correctional services. And Mr. Nxele came with his side of the story. I don't know if you are ready, but I'm ready to actually hear with you what he has to say. But all I can say is that ziyakhala pegwabo mababoshwe aziyakhona. Let's get to it.
100 counts of fraud and money laundering. Nxele claims National Correctional Services Commissioner Makgothi Thobakgale is targeting him for speaking out against alleged wrongdoing. Now, the department has declined to comment. eNCA senior reporter Dasun Tatia spoke to Nxele after he was released on bail.
Before we get into the background of this, let's just talk about this. How did the arrest come about?
Obviously, I was taken aback because I had not been interviewed before.
Yeah.
Nobody had sought to interview me from IDAC or from the police about whatever allegations they are investigating. It felt strange as well because it was late in the day. I posed the question to them to say, I thought as a member of the criminal justice cluster and the ranking member of correctional services in this province, a courtesy call should do to say, we want to see you, hand yourself, or can we meet you? We want to come and see you, something of that sort.
Yeah.
I did not get an answer. I got raised shoulders. So I realized that I'm not having much on that score. I have to accept the reality that they were there to arrest me. Obviously, what I also took an issue with was the fact that I wanted to change, preparing myself to say I'm not going to sleep at home. Yeah. I must wear appropriate clothes that I was going to sleep in a cell. Yeah. One guy was a little bit difficult, though Mr. Anthony was always, I think, reasonable and sensible. Yes. So I walked like that and went first to Pressbury police station, yeah. Where I was processed, and we find out that at Pressbury they don't have cells. And then I was taken to what is formerly was called Loop Street, the yes. central police station, Pietermaritzburg, called Chamundlovu.
Yeah. So, I think in simple terms, we heard in court that you intend to plead not guilty to these charges.
Absolutely.
Your legal team has expressed that and they've read out an affidavit. Where do you think this stems from? Because they've gone into great detail to paint a picture of saying, you know, in an overarching sense that you were spending money that you didn't earn.
It's something that I did not foresee, and I would not want my name to drag the name of the department, because I am what I am because of the service, the period I spend in correctional services, the opportunities that I have in correctional services. So I want to apologize to them that my name is used to drag the name of the department into the mud that we have. To the same extent, there are leadership of the government. I serve in the department, which is under the government of South Africa. I have the leaders of this country who have entrusted me in the position that I occupy in KwaZulu-Natal. I have my family. I've got my colleagues. I've got significant others who I feel that they don't know what is happening now, when suddenly yesterday I was on this station saying that there's massive corruption in correctional services. I would like to talk about that even today. This is a ploy to divert attention to the massive corruption that is happening in correctional services. I say so because these charges are nothing new to me. Yes, they have been investigated first by the Departmental Investigation Unit in 2015. Nothing came of it. In 2018, the department approached the Special Investigation Unit through, I think it was Proclamation number 10 of 2018, where the president assigned the SIU. SIU investigated the matter. Then real politics, if you like, or being singled out and targeted. All the members of the KZN sub-bid adjudication commission, of which I was the chairperson of for a period between 2012 and 2015. The SIU had recommended all of us be charged. And the then National Commissioner, Commissioner Arthur Fraser, had approved that we all being charged. Somehow those who advised him and the legal team, the attorneys that are employed, who have siphoned a lot of money from the department to pursue me. They decided that I'm the only one who's going to face the music, and they made these colleagues who serve with me to be witness against me.
I think that this is just one of the examples to show you what I'm saying, that there's just a lot of infight that is happening in the correctional services. I don't know if indeed he was singled out and he felt singled out. Probably there's been a lot of overwhelming evidence against him specifically, but this is just a good example to show you how bad it is there by correctional services, that these people are literally fighting amongst each other, and these fights are fights that are dating back to years ago. These are not the things that are happening now, are things that have been happening at the times of Arthur Fraser, and they've been carrying them to this day. And it goes back to what we've been talking about with the factions and the sub-factions in IDAC. Literally, you can't avoid factions everywhere you go. And it's not just about the criminal justice system and everything. In South Africa, just in life, it looks like there's always factions and you just have to choose a side, unfortunately. And it just depends on whether you're taking the winning or the losing side. But it looks like this issue of factions is something that exists. Let's continue.
And concocted lies, and one statement was signed by all of them. So eventually, when I went through the process of being disciplined between 2020 and 2022, they came to testify, and they were embarrassed, hugely embarrassed, and they were labeled as liars when the commissioner could not rely on their evidence because he realized that they were not telling the truth. And I was acquitted.
You talk about your reputation, you talk about your colleagues and what they may think about it. But remember now that based on those charges and based on all of those counts that we've seen, it shows us in IDAC's view that Mr. Nxele is actually someone who is living this life that he can't account for. They're talking about luxury cars, they're talking about gambling, and they're talking about all of those things. So what I want to know is, are you categorically saying that every bit of money that's been moved, every property, every car, and all of that, that you would comfortably account for if you were given the opportunity? Or are you saying that, look, that some of those things, there may be truth in some of what they're saying?
When I say the SIU investigated all those things, I've been there, I've been taken there and fully explained myself. And it was accepted by an independent presiding officer, the arbitrator, to say my version of what I'm saying is the one that is acceptable as opposed to the allegations that were leveled against me. That package of the SIU forms the basis of the IDAC. It was taken by Thobakgale to IDAC. Thobakgale is the complainant. He take it as it is. What we hear the prosecutor read yesterday is what was read to me in 2020, in 2021, in the internal procedure.
Hey guys, you know, now since we're going to the IDAC in Thobakgale, hey guys, IDAC is a very questionable institution. it's a very questionable institution. The things that they are doing, I'm not going to lie, the allegations are not looking good for the IDAC. And I feel like this issue of the IDAC is not thoroughly being addressed. Even the right institutions, the president, no one, even journalists, whenever they see the president, the only thing about the Pala, the extension of the Matlala Commission, they don't ask about the IDAC. What does he think about the work of the IDAC, especially with allegations that have came forward recently? I'd like to hear what the president has to say about the IDAC. And if I was to meet him and have an interview with him, that's one of the things that I would have want to ask him, despite the Matlala Commission, because we all want the Matlala Commission to be extended. But I think I want to know the purpose of the IDAC and why is it doing selective prosecutions. I'm not saying that he was this one. I don't know. As I've said, I take everything he says with a pinch of salt because of the allegations that he's been faced with. But IDAC, just guys in general, we have seen this in the weeks that we have been seeing the drama that has been going on. The IDAC has been put in the seat of accountability and has been put in the seat of judgment and questions. A lot of people have been asking themselves about the role of IDAC, whether it should be disbanded or not. They are good at investigating corruption, but they fail to investigate the corruptions of Khan, of people like Khan. Despite all the things that Khan has done with the Momo Said, Nabo Julius Malem and everybody else, they failed to investigate those people, but they are busy priding themselves with, we are going for high corruption, but they are busy with Khumalo. They can't stop with Khumalo. They just can't stop with Khumalo. Now when they have to investigate the real corruption that we see being exposed at the Matlala Commission, being exposed through such exclusive interviews, they are nowhere to be found. It's like they just go for small dogs. They go for those that they can catch. They don't want to go for big dogs or their friends or people that are connected to them. You see, guys, the IDAC. Hey, let's continue.
In the past, what year is this? Is 2020. In the past 16 years, I only purchased 2 new cars. You can go and check as well. It is an ML Mercedes-Benz 350 purchased at Umhlanga.
Yes.
A Mercedes-Benz through Standard Bank.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of that contract, I purchased a new Jeep in Pietermaritzburg in 2015.
It was paid off and then you bought
yes, in 2015. Other cars, it has been cars bought on auctions.
Yeah.
But if you see, I keep my car clean.
Yes.
If you see a BMW, you never know whether it's new or not.
Yes.
If it is beautiful, do you understand? And then I bought that BMW. If I sell that BMW and buy a Toyota tires,
yes,
you understand? It's not like I have a fleet of cars.
Yeah.
I don't.
And how many properties do you currently have in your name?
We've got only those 2. The one that it's not in my name, only one in Pietermaritzburg.
Well, through your marriage,
yes, only the one in Pietermaritzburg. The one is in the family trust that I'm living in here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is a vacant land, which is in the south coast. And those things were canvassed through the SIU investigation. Yes. It was in the media in 2020 of saying that I've acquired these properties, cash and all that. And then I was taken through this.
Yes.
And I explained myself how it was acquired.
As we said, we're going to have a frank and a fair conversation.
Absolutely.
Now, we also know that 2 things can exist at the same time. On the one hand, you can be a whistleblower and you can be exposing corruption in the department. But on the other hand, you can also be involved in wrongdoing. I'm not saying necessarily in this case, but it is possible. In your career path, have you done anything that you think could lead to you being placed in this position now? Whether it may have been a non-declaration of some sort, it may have been money received or anything that could have led you into this position, even if you are disputing what IDAC is saying currently in its court papers.
I am saying I've never received 100,000 from anybody as a chairperson. We conducted business with those who were there. I am not sure whether those witnesses are the same people as well, because
No, he's not answering the question. I don't know if you guys are realizing this, but I'll still continue with the exclusive. I don't think he's answering the question. The question is, have you ever, it's not about the 100,000 that he's received allegedly. It's not about the 100,000 that he has received allegedly from the Bosasa. Not only that, they are talking about just corruption in general, and then it's just focused on the Bosasa thing. What a red flag.
I know what is it called? I dealt with it internally in the department, and now it's a criminal matter. It's a kind of double jeopardy of some sense, of saying that you use people inside the department to create fictitious charges. They've been proven to be lying, and then you want to bring them now on a criminal matter. I don't know whether you get the point.
I understand.
There has been a process that we went through.
Yes.
Of the SIU process. That SIU process is the one that is placed before the Hawks. The Hawks didn't charge me.
Yes.
And now IDAC, which is a structure created yesterday, then the IDAC takes this one because Thobakgale put pressure. Why Thobakgale?
Let's talk about Thobakgale.
Okay.
Because he commented on your arrest. How did you react to those comments that were made by the commissioner?
I simply want to say Thobakgale thinks he's smart. He's the one who's orchestrating my arrest through IDAC. He is doing this because he wants to deflect attention on the massive corruption he's presiding over in correctional services. From the time how we came in correctional services with no experience to run a department as big as correctional services with no background in a correctional setting, he is given a position of a DDG, a Deputy Director General responsible for incarceration and corrections. He knows nothing about that. He has no history of that. And then within a year, he's given to be the acting and eventually the Director General. He's protected from those who are protecting him and handling him and those who collaborate and his surrogates. So I'm saying yesterday he says there has been this investigation. He doesn't tell the truth to say, I was taken through the processes. When I was acquitted, he could not take it. He sent guards from the department from Mpumalanga to stop me on the 14th of February 2022. When he could not succeed to have a court order to stay the execution of that award, he decided to suspend me for nothing. We go through that process of that suspension up to a point where the judges at the Labour Appeal Court were scathing about him wasting state resources and the way he has unfairly and unlawfully dealt with me. We have to call from the head of the government, the president, to say, let there be a forensic investigation of the food contract. Identify the people who are responsible for that, of which Thobakgale, as the head of the department, is the person who must be held responsible. I hear him saying that he's going to hold other people responsible. It is him who signs that contract as the head of the department. When I spoke out...
Hey, guys, it's a lot. I don't know if you guys know about this food tender and how it looks like there were suppliers that were double charging the correctional services. It made a lot of news, and Thobakgale kind of like justified everything and said it's not really the true account, because News 24 is the one that actually released the article regarding what is happening with the correctional services and the double or triple pricing of the things that have to be used in the correctional services, like cooking oil, all those things, the food contract. And Thobakgale obviously defended the entire thing. It did not even gain that much media traction because we are busy with the Matlala Commission.
Well, we need to put that into context. We entered into a national contract for the supply of products that make up the food rations for the inmates. That contract came into effect April 2025, and it is the first time that the department enters into such a contract of such a large scale. Remember, we have 243 correctional facilities. We have 42 management areas, a population of more or less around 169,000 that we have to feed on a daily basis. We appointed 115 suppliers on categories of 66 products. The contract itself has a built-in mechanism that allows us to review and renegotiate the prices every 6 months. We put the contract into implementation, as I said, April 2025. On the 30th of April, I had already requested a report or directed to get a report from contract management on how the contract was being rolled out. And on the 9th of May, we met with the minister because there were inquiries. Even on our side, there were inquiries. We even had a discussion at the management meeting because every Monday we have management meetings to discuss operational issues. So it came about that out of the 66 items, there are 7 items that were priced above the normal range, which would be your market related prices.
But I want to say, guys, I definitely think, I think the Matlala Commission should definitely have, even if one person from Correctional Services. Correctional Services is part of what we are dealing with the Matlala Commission, criminal justice system, and political interference. There's just a lot happening in Correctional Services. The corruption is too much. And this Mnikelwa Nxele, he himself, I think, is also part of the people, allegedly that are probably even corrupt. But I think with this exclusive and the information that he reveals and everything we've always heard about Correctional Services, I think that this commission should not, even if it's one person that is going to tell us about what is happening in Correctional Services. There's a lot happening there, guys. It's bad. Gubi.
Before the contract started, when I say there is no budget for this, you can't force me to buy a bread for 25 rand when I'm able to get a bread in Durban and Pietermaritzburg and when the province for 13 rand.
Yes.
He dismissed me. He dismissed me in the meetings when I applied as an individual provision to be exempted, to say, I have these suppliers who supply at a lesser level. Now he come to the television and mislead people and think people are fooled to say he is the one who was routinely checking and then he discovered this. That is not true.
What motivation would Thobakgale have?
I think Mnikelwa Nxele, he's just overreaching. With all the allegations you've been faced with, you want to deal with tenders. But guys, you're faced with serious allegations. You've been suspended from 2004. You've been facing allegations left, right, and center. And you want to deal with tenders, deal with issues. Even if I myself, I was the Correctional Services Commissioner, I was not going to trust this one. I was not going to trust this one. I don't know. How do you feel so far about Nxele? I feel like this guy, he might be, guilty somewhere, somehow. I don't see him as an innocent party in all of this. I just think that it's just that now, the empire the ship is sinking and he wants to talk. And probably this time, he sees that Thobakgale is literally on his neck like this. And now he wants to talk. But to me, he does not look like an innocent person. But you can have a different view. And you can comment that view in the comment section and tell me why you do think he's a credible person. And why do you think that he's literally telling the truth about everybody, Thobakgale, IDAC, everything. We can have different opinions. It's allowed. It is allowed.
To drag you through the mud, so to speak. How would it benefit him?
Okay. We have a history now. When the issue of Thabo Bester came to the fore,
yes,
Thobakgale and the leadership there, they did not discuss it with the management of the department at all. In fact, I would dare say it was hidden, deliberately so, for reasons that we don't know. So when it eventually came to the media, then we sought to discuss it. He was not in the meeting. When we raised concern to say this is not on, that as a department that is having oversight over that facility, it can't be that the matters are going to the parliament and be discussed in the media before the management, especially when we hear that certain people have alerted the commissioner and the ministry about the Thabo Bester matter. Okay, when he heard that we had deliberated on that, he sought to silence people. He was in New York. He had to call 2 o'clock in New York. So I'm saying that he's doing this. The motivation is this, It is the centralization of authority to control everything, from appointments, from transfers, from everything. You see him today. He is the one who is searching. That is not the work of the National Commissioner. He goes with television. Why? He does not search when there's no television. Why? Because he always wants to be seen on television, in the media. That's not the work of the National Commissioner. That's not the way. So his motivation is to distract from the real work that he must do. There is an issue of overtime in correctional services, which is huge. There's an issue of shift patterns in correctional services, which has not been resolved, coming from 2009. He is refusing to resolve and finalize that with the unions. There is an issue of telephones in correctional services. There's an issue of smuggling in correctional services, and other issues, including human resource related matters. But he's not focusing on those issues. All he does is to roam around South Africa and search him alone, and stop the regional commissioners, head of the centers, area commissioners from doing that, citing shortage of man. But if it is him, he goes to Limpopo today, tomorrow he goes to Port. So I'm trying to say to you, Tasen, it is a matter of somebody who wants to wear.
Guys, you see, Mara, these rivals, these faction rivals that are happening in these departments, they are so funny. You're complaining about rates, you're complaining about this person doing his job. He's the national commissioner. He's the national commissioner, but he's doing everything for the cameras. Guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm just insensitive of this whole thing. But I think this is a classical example of these factions that are going on. People are complaining about things that I don't think they even have to complain about. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Thobakgale is indeed like that? He likes the media that much that he only acts like he's doing his job when the media is there. But when the media is not there, hey, he's the devil as it comes.
As a lone ranger. In my case, when I raise this issue inside the meetings, to say we have a history of commissioners coming from the apartheid days to the democratic order. This style of leadership, we have never seen it. Take the transfer of Matlala to Epongweni. The head of the center by law must approve ultimately who goes out there. We facilitate at our levels. Commissioner, as head of the department, has got the last say. But when Matlala was transferred, the procedures were not followed. Matlala gets there without the head of the center being aware. He's being told when Matlala is outside the door. So I'm trying to say, when I say there's a lot of corruption in correctional services, including systematic things that are not being followed.
There are detractors who may say to you that you want to stay because you want to...
That's why IDAC was fighting for him so much. That's why they were fighting for Matlala to go back to Kgoshi-Mampuru. Because IDAC has been in the forefront of fighting because of their so-called plea deal that is actually collapsing. But yeah.
Thobakgale's job. What if someone says that to you?
Well, at some point I was approached, not just wanted. Twice I was approached for that job. It's late now. I would not. In fact, when I went back to see Thobakgale in September 2022, we sat with him. I told him to say, you are the last commissioner that I'm going to serve under. I pledged my support to him and asked for his support because I'm aware that my time is not far, okay? So I accepted that he must be the last commissioner. I did not say that I see myself being your successor. Yes. You understand? Yes. I accepted sincerely, and we have worked very well. I'm not at liberty to disclose some of the things which would have demonstrated to you to say, I have worked well with Thobakgale.
When did the relationship break down?
I think it broke down with the food issue. There were other issues where people were trying to influence him. But when we talk with him, me and Thobakgale, when we sit, we speak with respect. You will think that, as we were saying yesterday, we were fighting. He's civil to me, I'm civil to him.
Have you taken that step to deal with these other matters? I know that you've taken other steps, but have you taken the basic step of opening a case to say that this contract must be investigated, which in your view, could lead potentially to the arrest of those that are involved?
Thank you for the question. On the matter, for example, of Durban management area,
yes,
which result under me, in 2024, I commissioned an investigation after being advised by finance and supply chain that something wrong is happening. We find substantial wrong things, collusion with service providers, exorbitant prices, and so on.
So that reported there were individuals that were
yes,
named.
and some of them confessed to those things. I placed before Commissioner Thobakgale. Guess what? He does nothing. I placed before the minister. He does nothing. I placed that report before the public protector. Public protector commissioned an investigation. To this day, the public protector has not come. All I know is that Thobakgale had tried to influence that and counter that by opening the charges that he opened in March 2025. They are shocked when they see the inflated, what you call, prices. So I'm trying to say I've done that. But more than that, I had sought the intervention of the police. I met my counterpart, General Mkhonazi, and he referred me to the Hawks. I tabled the Westville report to the Hawks. I have no issue with IDAC. It's a welcome structure. We've got serious challenges, both in the public service and outside. But I just want to appeal to Advocate Johnson, the head of IDAC, to say she must not allow IDAC to be used to be a political tool that is used to settle dispute inside. Because you sit as a DG, then you have access to certain things, then you are able to get your way. Because if I have my way, I will have IDAC investigate Thobakgale.
That's where I was going with this.
Yes.
I'm saying to you that you have these claims.
I've written to IDAC.
That's where I was going.
Yes.
So have you?
Yes.
And what's been the response?
I've not yet received the response.
So what now?
Well, I want to state categorically that I'm not going to be silenced by malicious and concocted charges. I'm not going to be silent. I am prepared to account where I am called to account and answer to any allegation. But the executive arm of government must guard against director generals, including my director general, to use state agents that are going to waste state money.
You're talking to a country right now, or to viewers in a country that are tired of corruption. They are frustrated with the public service being manipulated.
I'm with our people as well. I'm tired as well.
Categorically say here that despite the charges that we are seeing and all of the movements of monies and all of that, you categorically say that you're not corrupt.
I am not corrupt. I can say I am not corrupt. I've been properly raised by people in rural areas from humble beginnings. We have learned to work and sweat and have what we have. We may aspire to have other things, but we appreciate the reality. As for me, I came with a grade 10 in this department. I've risen through the ranks in correctional services. I was not born a commissioner. So I have an appreciation where I come from. So I am not corrupt. I'm not born of corrupt people. We are not used to eat things that are stolen. You understand? So this notion that I'm being branded to my colleagues, to the significant others, I've got a number of organizations and people that I respect. The families, even if I don't know, I respect by virtue of what they stand for in this nation. For them to have a regional commissioner associated with the 1,000 charges, it is that part yesterday which I said that it's difficult to serve a government that is going to take you to a prison for malicious charges like that. We're still going to talk about the family, but I'm one person that I don't want to be pushed. I'm not going to be pushed. I'm going to serve my term in the department and take full responsibility for everything in account. If I have to go and account, I have accounted in the department. The department, Thobakgale knows, because he was here when I was acquitted.
Yes.
He did not like it. He appealed those decisions. Okay? So I'm saying that this pretension of saying that I've been investigated by the department, this is a culmination and so on, he knows that he has influenced one or two people at IDAC to do what they did, to come and arrest me without asking a version for me to say, we have these allegations, we want to take a statement from you, and so on. It is because of the Thobakgale has been influencing. He tried to influence the Hawks here in the province. I'm aware of that. He could not have his way, and then he went to IDAC. So that's why I was saying here on record that I'm appealing to Advocate Johnson to say he must not allow Thobakgale or any person for that matter to use IDAC. IDAC, we think it's got a space and a role to play in the challenges that we have in South Africa, but it must not be used as a tool for political reason or to settle differences. In this case, it is being used to divert attention. The real issue in correctional services, I stand here to you and the people of South Africa, the real issue, it is the stinking corruption that is happening in correctional services. Not only the food contract. Not only the food contract. If there was a way, I've called that the Matlala Commission must not make a mistake to conclude its report to the President and the people of South Africa without holding correctional services accountable or call correctional services. I'm one of those people who are prepared to go there. I'm saying that again here. I'm calling for that as well, to say the chairperson, including the President, who has...
You will open yourself up and you...
Absolutely. We want to go there and state the things that are not what to call. Nobody should be spared. Thobakgale must not be protected. Must not be protected at all. Because this notion that he is still sitting there when he has done so many wrong things, he must not be protected. We must go to the Matlala Commission. In the terms of reference, 1.8 says correctional services is part of the things that General Mkhwana has mentioned last year in July. To say, you start with the police, you go to justice, you go to the churches, you end to correctional services. Yes. And all those institutions, that chain of correctional service is part of the criminal justice. When you talk about cartels, I say the way the issue of Thabo Bester was handled, it tells you that there are cartels in correctional services. The way the issue of Matlala transfer and so on, it tells you that there are cartels. So I'm saying that you cannot undermine correctional services and focus only on the police and go to the two municipalities, the Kurulane and so on, and leave correctional services. Correctional services is at the tail end of the criminal justice class.
Mr. Nxele, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Indeed, we want to hear testimony about the correctional services, because guys, it's not looking good at all. And all I want to tell you is that there is a lot of rot in correctional services. As you guys have heard, these people are fighting, they're using different state institutions, Hawks, IDAC to fight each other. But the fact is that the crux of it is that there is a lot of corruption that is happening in correctional services. And I think one of the things that we want to know about as South Africans that are still very sketchy and unclear is the issue of Thabo Bester. Yes, I know that the trial is there. We're going to hear everything during the trial. But I also think that it's very important for correctional services to hear from their side. What happened? What happened with the Thabo Bester case? Because Lieutenant General Mkhwana told us that even Makgothi was involved in the case of Thabo Bester. And if Khan, they were involved in the case of Thabo Bester. Sort of the very high-profile, important cases that can show you this thing called political interference, this thing called corruption, everything that the Matlala Commission is currently investigating. And I think having some of the people there, yes, the matter is sub judice, it's before the courts, and it won't really be discussed that much in front of the commission. But I think we still need to hear something. We still need to hear what is actually happened, and is whether the people and the stakeholders that might have been involved. There's just a lot of questions around that. That is just an example of what is going on with the Thabo Bester case. There's many and many more. As he said, he even spoke about Matlala and his transfer and calling it unlawful and all of that. But as I've said, I'm not the one to judge Mr. Nxele. I've already told you my view. And let me hear what you think. I'm not going to feed you and say, this is who he is. You also have the right to say your view and what you think about his exclusive interview. Do you think indeed correctional services should go to the Matlala Commission? And what do you think about this factional fight that is going on between the KZN Correctional Services Commissioner and the National Correctional Services Commissioner? What is Groenewald saying about all of these things that are happening in correctional services? Nonetheless, guys, let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear what you think. Otherwise, I will see you guys on my next upload. Bye.